Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror science fiction The Return, a film that is co-written and directed by B.J. Verot, and it stars Richard Harmon, Andersson and Sara Thompson. Now this film focuses on Richard Harmon's character Rodger, who returns to the family home after the death of his father with his girlfriend and his childhood best friend, Jordan and Beth. While at the house, they start experiencing some strange things, and he starts experiencing some repressed memories. He goes to see an old doctor, and he learns an awful lot about his past, and there may well be a sinister force at work within his house. Right, what are my thoughts on The Return? Well, this is, on the face of it, quite a typical and generic horror film. However, it's not a supernatural horror film, not in the way that you might expect. The film essentially takes a little bit more of a twist here. There is a real connection with this Richard Harmon character and his family history. He lost his sister when she was young. His mother kind of went a bit mad. His father was killed recently, and there's a real connection to this house, and he's determined to find out what it is, really. And as he starts uncovering, the more he starts to uncover, the more uncomfortable things start getting, and he starts learning about this childhood friend, like invisible friend that he used to have, that has far more sinister meaning than he realizes. He learns that he's got repressed memories. He was kind of hypnotized by child psychologists when he was young to repress these memories. And the more these memories start coming back, the more he starts to learn about his dark and sinister past and the past of this house. Now, on the face of it, it seems quite a simple storyline, and it is. I mean, where this film, I think, actually fails it's too enclosed. There's not enough characters here in this film. There's not enough threat in this film, even though it does present a threat here and there, and there's a couple of deaths here and there. It doesn't explain itself well enough, if you like, and initially it feels quite sinister, this presence in the house, and the effects, I think, are actually quite good. It's almost like this shadowy figure with, like, you know, these glowing eyes and things. It's the stuff of nightmares, really, you know. But I just don't think they do anything really effective with it. Not enough, you know. You do see moments where it's quite dangerous and sinister, but it never really feels like the human characters are out of control and things aren't in their control. And then the end of the film goes really science fiction, and the story just kind of falls off a cliff. And for me, the last half an hour of this film really lost its narrative to me, and it just didn't work anymore, which I thought was a real shame, because there was some really good character building here, some good writing for some of the characters. I thought the acting by everybody here was, you know, of a very good standard for what you would consider to be a low-budget film. Richard Harmon carries the film particularly well. He's quite a striking looking guy. He's got an unusual look about him, and he holds the screen well. And there's this triangle between him and his best friend Jordan and his girlfriend Beth. There's like this real chemistry between him and his best friend, who's just to make it clear, Jordan is a woman as well as Beth. So there's a little bit of a love triangle going on, even though he's fighting against it throughout much of the film. So it plays around with these characters a little bit, but not to the detriment of the rest of the film, which sometimes a lot of these films do. They focus too much on that sort of thing because they don't have maybe the resources or the budget to work on the other stuff. But what you do get on screen is done particularly well. It's just confused. You get like this shadowy figure, and then you get these flashbacks, which I think, I'm never a fan of flashbacks in movies, and I think they're overused here in this film too. But some of the flashbacks we see a different entity sort of thing. I'm not sure if entity is the right word, and it doesn't. It always makes me feel, when I watch a film like this, and it doesn't always make sense, it always makes me feel like I've missed something. I've missed some narrative somewhere in the film, and quite a lot of times I haven't. It's just not been explained well enough. And I think that's the case here with this film, unfortunately. just doesn't explain itself well enough, you know, in regards to, and especially the ending when it goes really sci-fi. You see him building like almost like a Ghostbuster set sort of thing, and then it goes all interdimensional, all sorts, and there's a bit of time travel involved, and this, that, and the other. And you're just thinking, what is going on with this film? By the end of it, you really are scratching your head, and I do think it's a shame because the first 50 minutes or so of the film it builds it up particularly nicely to some kind of confrontation by the end of the film, but unfortunately the confrontation that we get for the last 30 minutes or so of the film is a real disappointment and a real letdown, and it doesn't deliver on some of the early promise that the film showed. So I do like the fact that it did try to do something different with the genre. It's not a typical haunted house type film. It certainly couldn't be considered that. So there is definitely a horror sci-fi element to the film. I just don't think it's explained particularly well, if you like, throughout the film. So there's things to like here and things that are certainly disappointing here in the film, but it's not a bad watch. There's some good performances. The production values are all decent. The effects are better than you think. So I'm going to give this one a 5.5 out of 10. It's certainly worth checking out if you've got a little bit of spare time on your hands. That's my review for The Return. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I'll be back on the channel with loads more content pretty much every day. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.